Ella Santa.
You're charged with failure to pay $357. That is the charge. If you plead guilty, if you're found guilty, you could be incarcerated for, in this case, it looks like, well, this is not a probation case, but I would still honor it for 5 days. Do you understand that?
Yes, may I add something?
Not yet. You're presumed innocent. They have to prove you guilty by a preponderance of the evidence. You have the right to a hearing, right to question their witnesses, right to bring in your own, right to use the subpoena powers of the court to bring in those witnesses. If you plead guilty, you'll be giving up all those rights and there will not be a hearing or a trial. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You have the right to a lawyer. If you want one, we'll give you one. Do you want a lawyer?
No.
To the charge you failed to pay is set forth in the show cause, $357. How do you plead? Guilty or not guilty, sir?
Guilty.
Did you fail to pay? Are you listening to my questions or
No,
can
I
you
am.
not hear me?
I am listening. I am listening.
Did you pay the $350? Did you fail to pay the $357 that's owed?
Yes, because of unemployment.
Well, did you come and talk to the judge? She told you to pay $100 a month starting November 1. This is February. It doesn't look like you paid a nickel. Did you come in and seek permission? Say, hey, judge, I don't have the money. I got laid off. I'm on unemployment. I can't eat. I can't feed my family. I can't heat my house. Will you give me an extension? When did you come in and talk to her about that?
Your Honor, I did come to the court and I paid money and they didn't offer me a suggestion to make a court date.
Well, it's not a big formal proceeding. You just call the court or come in on or before your due date. When did he make a payment, Lisa? I don't see one reflected on. Oh, he made $10 in December 27th. Is that right?
Yeah, there's also a note in there that he was advised of open court hours for a new payment arrangement.
So you can't just ignore courts. I don't get this. This part of my job, I do not understand.
I wasn't even guilty of being stopped to pull over. He didn't see my brake light. I stopped with my clutch on my motorcycle and I got a ticket for not stopping. I was already stopped.
Hang on. This wasn't my case, but I know Judge Hessen, and I know she wouldn't have taken a plea of guilt or written this down if you didn't plead guilty. They gave you a 0-point violation, allowing an unlicensed driver to drive. The 2-point suspend charge was dismissed. I'm not going to go back and relitigate that. That's over. It's like the Lions trying to go back and say, hey, we want to play that game against Washington.
That's fine. I'm not going to compare this courtroom to a sport game. Thank you. I'll pay my dues. Okay.
I just did, but don't start telling me about something that happened during the plea arrangement that you don't agree with now. And don't start getting smart with me. Do you have this to pay or not?
I'm not smart. I am smart.
Just tell me if you have this to pay. Just tell me if you have this to pay.
I don't have money. I'm trying to go back to work and I'll give money from my unemployment, but I can't pay $100 a month, Your Honor.
You needed to come and talk to her.
Okay.
That's what you needed to do. In fact, the judicial clerk just told me that you were made aware of the open hours. You cannot ignore this.
Open hours. I believe they told.
Come and see the judge. We're not, you wouldn't walk into a doctor's office at 5 at night and say, hey, I want to be treated without an appointment. You can listen to me. Listen. No.
You're yelling.
Listen to me. Hey, listen. Listen.
Trying to listen.
That's because you're accepting no responsibility. And now you want to go back and relitigate the case. And I'm not going to go back and relitigate the case. It's over. You pled guilty. She took your plea. She sentenced you. It's over. Now, if you need time to pay, you can give me a reasonable amount that you can afford to pay. But you can't ignore courts and then come in and try to relitigate the case 4 months later.
I didn't
How much
mean
can
it.
you afford to pay weekly or bi-weekly or monthly? And so far, we're not doing good because you only paid $10 in 4 months.
I don't have the receipts with me, but I paid after Christmas or before and paid in January. I can afford approximately $25 a month on the unemployment I'm getting.
Where were you working at, sir?
I was working for Roush Industries.
Did you got laid off?
Yes.
Lisa, when I don't see anything else on this file other than the fact that he paid $10 on December 27th. Were there other payments made?
No, I only see one payment on December 20.
I
So
came
what?
down and paid money in 2025.
Okay. On this case,
Yes, sir.
do you have the receipt?
Yes, I do.
Well, why don't you put it up to the camera? Because you know what? I've been here a long time. I've never had one person. Are you positive about that? Or the JIS doesn't reflect the payment made in January, Lisa?
I only see one in December, Judge, December 27th. I'm looking to see if he
Right.
has other cases maybe he paid on.
Nope. I came down there.
Okay, so listen, we don't need
I'm
to
looking.
talk about this. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to
I'm
wait,
looking.
but I'm going to tell you this. I've been told this before, and in 30 years and 1.5 months, I've not had anybody tell me that they have a receipt and provide the receipt that indicates a payment was made when our records reflect no payment made. Not one. So you'll be the first one. You'll be the first one. So tell me what day you paid it. You have your receipts, you said there, right? Pull it up and tell me what date that was.
I'm looking in my folder for this.
I can't wait to hear.
Yeah.
Tell you what, you take your time. I don't want to rush you. I don't make any mistakes.
I fast forwarded a little bit. The judge went and took a break while he was waiting on it. So the guy says he paid the ticket. Judge just says, just show me the ticket. Show me that you paid it.
Did you find that yet, Mr. Dalla Santa? Did you find that, sir?
I have been looking and
I'll tell you what. Why don't you find it and you can come talk to Judge Hessen this afternoon? How's that? Gregory
Okay.
Lawrence, Dallas Santa, 24W8362928. Unless you find it now, I told you I'd waive the fines. She's not bound by that. So you find that now and I'll waive the fines. You won't pay anything, even if that's for $5. I will waive the balance. You got it. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to let you sit there and take a look at this. I want to be completely fair and make sure that you only pay 13 cents on the $100 owed. And I'm going to let you find that, and then everybody will be happy. We can close the case and you won't have to pay fines. I'll tell you what, I'll be back here at 1:45. See it.
Mason will be in a minute now.
What's he here on?
He's handling Bivens and Kohler.
Is Colbert here? Colbert here? Recalling, go back on record. Mr. Dalla Santa, you can step up to the People against Gregory Lawrence de la Santa, 24W836-292A.
Good morning. I'm here, Your Honor.
Your name?
Gregory Delasana.
All right, where is it? You got it? I want to waive all these fines for you.
I really understand your position, but I can't believe that would actually be true, even though I do not have a receipt.
Listen,
I did not
Listen.
pay, and I'm sorry. I thought I did. I went there with money.
no, that's what we do here because we're honest about things here. And if you had came out with I just told the staff down the hall, he comes out with a receipt that says he paid $5 after January 1, I'd waive all the fines. That's just the way we are here. We don't make mistakes like that.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? This is a court building. It's a courthouse. So you are either guessing or lying, and I don't appreciate it.
Well, I did come there with
I don't
money,
wanna
and my money
argue with
wasn't
you.
given.
I don't want to argue with you. I'd give up my house for a cup of coffee if you could have come up with that. So please don't come in here and tell me you paid in January when we know that you haven't paid in January, because that would be what we call a lie.
I
And
didn't
that's a
mean it that
horrible
way.
word. Hang on. You insisted you paid in January. You've been painful to deal with this whole time. I'm going to cut this short. I'm not going to let you pay just $25 a month. We're not a bank here. You've owed this money for 4 months. You didn't come in and talk to Judge Hessen. You didn't come in and say, hey, can I have an extension? None of that went on. So you're going to have to figure out a way. I don't know where you're going to work or when Roush is going to call you back, if they're going to call you back. But I mean, we're not a bank. You don't get 16 months to pay $295 in fines and costs. You paid $10 and now you owe $357 after the $10 payment because of default and warrant fees and late fees and everything else. And I'm not going to let you pay $25 a month. That would take you what? 12. That would take you 14 months to pay this, over 14 months.
That's less than 16. Can I make a statement?
Hang on. What do you mean it's less than 16? Why did I say 16? I might have said 16. Is that what you want to do, is criticize me? I'll deal with my math skills like against you or anybody else, but don't.
I'm not criticizing you.
I don't. Yeah, you're a wise guy. You're one of those guys. You're one of those guys that thinks you can talk your way out of things. I've seen it before. I see it every day, actually. So you're not alone. I don't want you to think. In fact, I don't even want to talk about this anymore.
Yes,
You're going to have to come up with a way to pay more than $25 a month. So I'll kind of work with you and let you deal with I'll let you kind of set up your own plan, but it's not going to be $25 a month. We're not a bank. So what are you going to do?
Well, I'm barely making it. I know I'll be back to work. I don't know when. I wasn't working with Roush at this time last year. I came back around Easter. So all I'm asking is you accept less than 50 so I have something to live on. That's all I'm asking. And
All I can tell you is October 23rd, you must have told Judge Hessen that you could pay $100 a month. She started it 8 days later. So, but you know what? Let's forego that. I'm going to let you pay $50 per week. And I'm going to start this on April the 25th. And you'll be back to work by then. And if you're not back to work by then, you need to come into the courthouse at 8:30 in the morning and speak to me about an extension. You understand?
yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I wish you well. Good luck. Have a good day. Thank you.
You too.
Are we ready on Kohler?
All right, everybody. Welcome to American Courts. Thank you for coming out. We hadn't done this in a little while. Had to take me a little bit to set up and get ready, but the moderators forced me, twisted my arm behind my back, made me come in tonight. So we're going to do this. We got a lot of Judge Simpson tonight. I got actually a two-part I finally followed up with the case, and I'm proud of myself. I'm patting myself on the back about it. So we're gonna watch that, and then we got Judge Green, Judge Boyd, and some more Judge Simpson. So we're gonna be Simpson heavy tonight, but that's okay. Nan likes Judge Simpson. So here we go with this one was last week's, and then we followed that one up with today.
Court calls the case, People versus Caleb Smith.
People.
Lawrence Margolis on behalf of Mr. Smith. Caleb, please unmute yourself. Please state your name.
Caleb Smith.
Judge, we are still waiting on discovery in this matter. It's through U of M and they are notoriously slow. The video, we got discovery from the people, but I believe we're waiting on the video download from U of M. Is that correct, Mr. Prosecutor?
I missed what the last part of what he said was. I'm sorry.
We are waiting on the discovery download of the video from the U of M Department of Public Safety. I am not in possession of it as of this time. I had spoken with Mr. Chalmers, who was handling this previously. I know he's in trial. Do you have any update for the court on the video?
So I'm not familiar with how long it's going to take for that to be downloaded and sent over to you. I do see it looks like we sent some materials last month. I can reach out to U of M to see if there's a hang up on their end. But that's the best of my knowledge as far as the download and that process.
That'd be great. That's all I could ask for. Thank you.
How much time are you gonna need to?
I can reach out to them today. I'm not sure how long it's going to take them to get back.
I set that up for. So, second. Probable cause conference. Go to March 6, 2025, 9 a.m. Or as your invite indicates, bond will continue.
Your Honor, if people may be heard on bond, actually.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Your Honor, the current bond in this case, I believe, is a PR bond. I would note that people initially requested $25,000 surety. I would be renewing that request. The counts charged here, as the court can see, are carjacking, assault, intent to rob while unarmed, financial transaction device, as well as receiving and concealing. As far as the people's concern, it's public safety, and that this is a defendant who assaulted a completely unknown victim, a stranger, in a parking lot, tried to take her car, took some property from her. She suffered a broken nose, chipped tooth, numerous abrasions. I believe he was then found later with other individuals consuming marijuana despite being under 21. I think that a PR bond is not appropriate given the severity of the charges as well as the facts of this case.
Mr. Margolis.
We'd ask Your Honor to keep the bond in place. This individual was charged originally as a juvenile. He spent 4 days in custody. The case was, he was released, and at the time it was dismissed and then it was recharged. We've been working with the detective in this matter and we turned ourselves in, and then we're able to get the PR bond. Miss Burton Harris was at that hearing, or one of her people were there. I think she was at that one. I can't remember exactly that. Maybe that was Joe. He has no prior criminal history of any sort. He is an A student. He is on a house arrest tether. His mother is in the courtroom or in the Zoom with Mr. Smith today. He is not a threat of committing any crimes. He is not a threat of leaving the jurisdiction. We would ask Your Honor to keep the bond in place. And there's been no bond violations. I don't believe. He said something about marijuana.
Is he testing?
I can't recall, Caleb. Are you testing? I think he did test, but I don't know if he is testing presently.
Testing for what? Sorry.
Alcohol or drugs?
No, they're not testing me.
All right, young man, if I tell you to report to community corrections today to take a drug test, is it going to come back clean?
No.
What's going to show up?
Just it was from school. Just marijuana. That's it.
How old are you?
Just turned 18.
Yeah, that's a problem. Mr. Margolis, how fast can you and your client get down to the court?
half an hour?
Pardon?
1/2 an hour?
Okay, I'll pass the matter. We'll see you then.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
No.
Not at all, right? In fact, I'm just gonna guess.
So I was feeling bad for this kid at first because I thought it was just a marijuana case, but I think they got him for carjacking as a bond violation. So he's getting ready to get some time. He's got to figure life out. So I thought it was a marijuana case, and so it got deeper.
I know your mom, but I'm just gonna guess she's probably told you not to do it.
Yeah.
So you don't listen to her, and you're not listening to me or the court. You just want to play by your own rules, don't you?
No, sir. No, I don't.
Because otherwise you wouldn't have done it last night. Young man, how old are you?
18 now.
When was your birthday?
December 21st, 2006. It's my birthday.
So we turned 18 as I told the court, it was charged originally in a juvenile matter, and then it was dismissed and they recharged as adult.
You understand, young man, that you are facing a life offense.
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor. And it's taken a lot for me to realize what position I am in, and
I don't think you get it. You found yourself in a position where maximum penalty is life or any term of years. Have you graduated high school?
no, sir.
No, you haven't even graduated high school and you're facing a life offense. And then somebody just gives you some simple rules to follow, some simple things not to do. And you can't do that. You can't follow your mother's rules. You can't follow the court's rules. You can't follow any rules. So you tell me why, if you're just going to throw away your life, why I shouldn't just lock you up right now?
No.
You tell me why.
Improving, sir. And
Improving how? You're smoking last night. Tell me how that's an improvement.
I do it. I'm gonna tell you why. I usually need to study or focus study, and it helps me focus while studying. I listen to music, and I honestly no harm for it, and
You will never do it.
I would never do it again. I can quit it whenever I'm not addicted to it or anything. I just like it because it helped me study.
How are the grades?
I got good. My grades are improved now. Back since I've been out, I've been having
Did you tell your mother you needed something to help you study?
I said I prefer. I actually
Did you tell your mother that?
no. No, sir.
Because you're just so grown, you took it on your own.
Sorry. I was trying to do things on my own, and clearly I messed up, and this just shows that I need my mother to supervise me and to.
You're not listening to her. I don't, and I'll be honest with you, I went through the bond form, Mr. McGoes. I don't understand how he has a PR bond. I don't.
So the family would not be able to make a high cash bond or a significant money bond. He came to the court with no prior history of any misconduct. He is high school senior, on track to graduate. I explained to the magistrate how the family has all come together to take care of this, help assist this young man through this time. He's on a tether, on house arrest. All he is able to do is go to school and church. And I believe those are the two places that he's gone to.
Yeah, those are two places that I've only been.
He is not a risk of committing any offenses, not a risk of
Yes, he is.
any.
Because he did it already.
possible, and not to excuse anything here, Judge, but it's possible that I didn't explain the conditions sufficiently to this young man.
How's that feel with your sword in your chest?
I don't think I understand the court.
I don't mind attorneys falling on the sword for their client,
Thank
but
you.
this young man is not listening. He is not, he is just going to decide to do things his way. And I think his problem is he's running to the wrong judge to try to do stuff his own way.
Understood, Judge. I would suggest that perhaps if he were to test regularly and prove to Your Honor that he does respect the court, does understand what he needs to do.
You know, Mr. Margolis, I don't mean to interrupt you.
No worries.
It's almost not so much about respecting the court, although I do require that. But you know, I'm sitting up there watching on the Zoom screen and I see his mom just standing beside her child. And it's the fact that you don't respect her that is really irritating me. And because of that, you're not even doing the things to respect yourself. You're an 18-year-old kid up here facing life. And again, I don't know your mom, but you got these charges come up, you got your mom scared to death.
Your Honor would like to speak with her. She'd be more than happy to talk to the court. Right?
I'll tell you what, I'll hear from mom on my name.
Your Honor, and I probably mentioned this already, but he's in his last semester. My concern is that if he's detained for long.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I know Your Honor knows.
I know.
I just wanted to put that out there. And he,
You know what? If I don't care about his education, about his life, what if he doesn't care, why should I?
I think he does care. I think he's just made some mistakes. And
He's
improved.
not listening.
He's never talked to you before,
Oh, I can tell.
meaning he's listening to you, Judge.
Mom, is there anything you want to say? I know this is not. Excuse me one moment.
Please.
Let me see where he wants her to speak. That right there, of course.
Put him over there with you, Alan, and then mom can come up so I can hear her.
Right here, man.
Mom, you can come on out. State your name.
Nicole Barrow.
All right. What do you
Thank
want?
What
do you want to tell me?
I know most moms will say that they have like a good kid and they give you this long spiel and then they do something bad and they're like, oh no, you should believe it. But when I tell you, like, I'm in shock, utter shock. He was really a good kid and still is. I did not know. I knew he had a vape, but it wasn't marijuana. And I did tell him it was bad for his lungs. Prior to that, he was my only child that I knew for sure was going somewhere. He's never smoked, never been in any trouble. Him and his brother had started a business where they were selling hoodies in school. He would even be the one, helping me around the house. He's got a brother 16 months apart from him. I moved up to Ann Arbor 8 years ago. So his older brother went to Eastern and somebody laced his weed and sent him on a trip. By the grace of God, he came back. He's got a degree now. He's going to U of M this fall for software engineering. He even got a STEM scholarship. So that was the example that I was showing my younger children. Don't smoke weed. Don't hang out with these kids. Started hanging with some new kids that were older than him in college. And then I think turning 18, he thought he could,
Just thought he was
rebellious and grown. Yeah. And not knowing. I just ask that the court show mercy. And I know This isn't something light or to be taken lightly, the charges that he's facing. We don't consider it lightly. We come from a good background. Our family, civil rights activists. I don't know if you ever heard of Willie Barrow, my aunt.
Yes.
Joe Lewis, my great uncle. I'm doing well at Blue Cross. I'm making a name for myself with the CEO. I'm back in school.
Ma'am,
So he comes
let
from
me
a good
stop
family.
you.
I'm sorry.
I do not doubt that at all.
Yeah. So this is hard.
I do not doubt that you as a mom have tried to do everything within your power to give him the tools and everything else so he could succeed. That is not a doubt. Like I said, I don't know you, but when I saw you on the screen, it wouldn't be easy for you, but if you just walked away from your kid that might have done wrong, I don't know that anybody would blame you necessarily. You didn't do that. You were standing cheek to cheek with him.
Yeah.
So understand any decision that I make, it's no reflection on you.
Sure. I understand.
But what I also understand is I've been doing this long enough to realize if he keeps getting away with this stuff, he's either going to end up in prison or in a casket.
Don't shake your head because you have no idea. You think you know too much, but I'm going to show you about what you do know.
Mom, is there anything else you want to tell me?
He thought marijuana was legal and he could do that. And then they didn't tell us the probation. I know it's wrong, but they didn't give us restrictions or say anything to him. And I think he didn't know it because that's what he said coming in. If that, I know it's not helpful.
I got you.
I thank you.
His bond conditions are what his bond conditions are. I understand they may not have told him, but you told him.
Yeah,
He knew.
I did. And I just asked if you do makeup on, can you make it affordable for me? It's just me. And then I've been missing work already. I've missed almost a month. They're on me. I got to go meet with my HR on Monday about my job. This is so hard. And I told him I was only messing up at work because of this. I can handle it.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, do not apologize.
I'm so sorry.
What time's your appointment on Monday?
In the morning when I go to work at 8 a.m. I work in Medicare Advantage out of the Blue Cross. It'll be 2 years in May.
What time do you get out of work?
4:30. You're right.
All right. Okay. You work, how far is it from your work to here?
It takes me about 45 minutes.
To get here?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else from either side before I do what I'm going to do?
Your Honor, the people's original request was for $25,000. That was before the people were aware of the new violation with the marijuana. This time, people will be requesting refunded for the violation. I know the court indicated I've gone through the bond request form. I know my colleague did a fantastic job outlining all the facts. I did just want to again emphasize the severe injuries and assault that occurred on one of the victims here with the broken nose, chipped tooth. She was bitten her hand and she was trying to fight the defendant for control of the car keys. I think remand is appropriate at this time.
Margolis.
I have nothing additional to add, Judge. This isn't the time to talk about the facts. We do have compelling defense to this case, but I'm not going to get into them now. This is a first offense, first charge of the lifetime for this young man. The family does not have money to pay a high bond. I would, if Your Honor was going to change the bond, I would suggest something in the range of 10 to 25,000, 10% if possible.
But if I make it higher than that, then family doesn't have it. And then he doesn't graduate.
Correct.
And everything's a mess.
Correct.
Man, anything you want to say?
Hold on. I just want to say that I do learn from my mistakes. I'm getting closer to God. I know I do look at my mistakes and I know it impacts my family and I know it impacts my mother and it really breaks my heart. I've been improving. I've been improving in school, my business. I'm helping opening up a business today actually for pregnant women for a pregnancy pillow. Like I'm trying to like do the right thing and I won't smoke again. That's no problem for me to not smoke again. I won't like. Other than that, like I've been following my probation rules. I've been texting my probation officer. Have not committed any other violations. I've been going to school on time, and I really apologize to the court. I'm sorry. I apologize to you. And that's it.
You know something? So I'm sitting there listening to your mother, and man, understand something. You will never, ever possess the right to break her heart. You just don't have that right. Normally, an easy thing for me to do is to accede to the people's request. If I accede to the people's request, you're not out. You don't graduate. Everything becomes a whole mess. But it also seems that if I let you out, you can't seem to follow the rules or do anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about it. And I'm going to decide what I want to do. But you're not leaving here today, Mr. Allen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to revoke your bond. You sit there and you think about it. I'm going to set a bond hearing 4 o'clock on Monday, 4 p.m. I'm setting 4 p.m. so you can get into the building. Ma'am, you get to work. You get here. We'll be here. We'll wait for you. Okay? We'll finally have somebody that's waiting on you as opposed to you waiting on everybody else and everything falling through. But what you're going to do, young man, since you can't seem to understand what kind of life you're kind of headed to, you ever been in jail?
Yeah.
For how long?
They put me in here for 4 days.
On this case, Judge.
Well, you're going to be back in. And then when come Monday, you might just stay in. You have nobody to blame for this but you. So at this time, defendant is remanded. We'll see you on Monday.
So I'm really bad at paying attention. So getting to watch this again, I got to pay attention, and I got to hear him ask the questions of the mom about Monday's schedule. And to this evening, I was able to pick up the follow-up hearing to this. So we're going to get to watch that hearing. But it made sense why Judge Simpson stayed there so late this evening. So Judge Simpson did a really good job. And here's the part 2 from this evening, and it didn't end until after 6 o'clock this evening. So it was just an hour or two ago. So it's close to live, but not live.
Very nice.
Super stuff.
Okay.
Thank you.
Your Honor.
Hold on.
Fire, look, my buddy.
Oh, here's some more stuff. Yeah, I don't think I did anything with it. No, I didn't.
Do you want me to talk? Yeah.
All right. Set this hearing, and the defendant is present. I set this hearing after the court finding a bond violation and had revoked the defendant's bond. I set this hearing giving an opportunity for reconsideration of that bond issue.
Thank you, Judge.
Right.
Your Honor, I'm in the courtroom today with my client's mother, Nicole Barrow, his brother, Uncle Gino's in the courtroom, as well as Gino Jr., as well as Raymond Spears.
Okay, you just gave me three. I have no idea who that Gino
Yeah, yeah.
is. So
Gino, sorry, Reno. And Raymond Spears is his old football coach. They're all here in support of young Mr. Smith. Your Honor, we were here last Thursday and it was a PCC, Your Honor requested, asked the people requested to amend the bond and change it from a PR bond. We discussed it a little bit, and then Your Honor asked Mr. Smith whether he had been using marijuana, and he honestly said that he was, and Your Honor revoked his bond. We're here today.
Well, it was kind of like that. I asked him, would he pass a drug test?
Correct. Thank you, Judge. To remind the court, this is young Mr. Smith's first criminal charges lifetime. He has a perfect record at school. He was on his way to 4.0 grades until last semester when his grades declined. It is no coincidence that he has now, that's when his problems with the law began. He was not attending to his duties at school. He was sort of hanging out with the wrong crowd, not to justify or offer an excuse, but here we are today. It was charged originally, this case that is in front of us was charged in juvenile court. He spent 4 days in custody. After that, he was released from custody. We went in front of the juvenile court judge and the case was dismissed, and then he was charged in adult court. The charges are very serious. I can approach and we can discuss a little bit about the biggest charge if Your Honor would like to hear. I believe he has there are compelling defenses to that. The short of it is we're seeking to have him placed back on his house arrest tether, so he can go to school, so he can go to church, so he can do the right thing and be around his family and have the support of his family and handle these cases on all fours. He is presumed innocent. This is a good young man. I have faith in this young man, and I'm here for the duration.
Anything from the people?
Your Honor, people already stated their position on Thursday. The only thing that I have to add from that previous argument is that I do have some concerns being released under the same or similar conditions as before of the GPS tether with allowances for church and school. I believe the defendant stated at the last hearing that he got the marijuana from school. And so I'm concerned about releasing him and then putting him back in the same environment where he got the marijuana that led to this violation in the first place. Thank you.
I would just suggest the court may, if Your Honor was inclined to reconsider, may institute a testing regimen would be something this young man should be responsible to and could handle.
Well, and I appreciate what the people are saying. The other issue in this one that plagued me since I put him in, and those of you that know me know that it would, and that is that if he stays incarcerated, maybe that might be the right decision for most. What I then know is he doesn't graduate. And then at the end of it all, I don't know what we have. That's the bottom line to it. Young man, so when you spent the 4 days before, that was in a juvenile facility?
No, it was here in a holding cell.
They didn't, for some reason, they weren't able to hold him in the juvenile facility, Judge.
So what have you been thinking about?
Like recently?
Well, you got locked up on Thursday. Now, unless your mind shut down, what have you been thinking about?
I've been thinking about first how right you were, and that I did learn my lesson, and that my actions do have consequences, and then this is a very serious matter, and that I do not want to be here, and not, it's more like this place shows me that I'm not like supposed to be here, and that
what you were telling me earlier today.
and that I've been thinking about, going to school. I've been thinking about graduating to go to college. I've been thinking about my relationship with God and that how I can become a better person, and that sorry, Your Honor. And pretty much like how I can improve myself as a better person. And that's what I've been practicing while I've been there. And so when I'm out, I can become a better person, show you not with just my words, but with my actions.
Why are your grades slipping?
Well,
because see, here's the thing. If I were to reinstate your bond, put you back out there, problem's going to be is that if you're failing out of school, my major motivation for even giving you that opportunity isn't there.
On your grades.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah. So, ever since I've been out, my grades has been improving. I have screenshots to prove that I have A+ right now. My lowest grade right now is a C. I believe a C.
In what?
A C in 1 second, Your Honor. I'm trying to think. I have an A+ in accounting too. A C in newspaper. It's a newspaper entertainment. I had to miss an assignment that I haven't turned in.
Okay, so he said he got a C in newspaper. When the hell did newspaper become a class in school? Maybe I didn't pay enough attention, but to me, newspaper certainly wasn't a class.
What should your grades be?
All A+, Your Honor. Or at least passing. Or not at least passing, but A's and B's. But I'm shooting for all A's.
Then you shouldn't even be thinking, there shouldn't even be a C on any. Mom, anything you want to say?
Please step up.
You'll have to stay right there.
Oh.
Thank you. I have signed us up in counseling, for ThriveWorks in Ann Arbor for not just him, but for family. Also, I looked into him being into a mentorship program. Along with his football coach, started a program called Pathways Careers to Careers. And he said he'd be willing to mentor him along with his older brother who's starting U of M in the fall for software engineering, and his uncle. I got them in their lives, and then now I have more time off from work to be able to. They understand what's going on, to be able to get him back on the right track. And that's my goal. If I gotta monitor him, take him to school, be there. I got engaged with the teachers. They just assumed that he had been ill, so they've been allowing him to make up the work. His grades have come back up. They're all missing him. He's well liked in his whole school, principal, everybody. They've known him since elementary. When we came up here, he was in the 5th grade. And make sure that he's no contact with any of it. He's ever grown.
Pardon?
The other kids growing, and I make sure that he's no contact with them now. Taking his phone. He doesn't have it. I have a new number. And I actually have it linked to my iCloud, so I'm able to view all of his activities through my cell phone.
You're hanging around a bunch of grown men. Maybe.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm. It was a mistake.
So when you went to jail, did you feel grown? Because I can there's a whole lot of grown folks back there if that's what you want to be. You know something? Do you remember what I told you about respect on Thursday? Or did your head just shut off at some point?
No, I remember, Your Honor.
What did I tell you?
Tell me respect. It's like Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, you told me to respect my mother and that if I can't respect my mother or the court, then that's a problem. And I do remember, Your Honor. And I would like to say that I am like these 4 days, it may seem little, but it was a lot to me. And I really like had time to think about it and on respect and the lengths that my mother is going for me. And the least I can do is to respect her to my full extent.
You know what's funny? I mean, I hear you, and to the extent you can understand it, you understand it, but you're never, until you are one, gonna ever understand the sacrifice of a parent. You're just not, you're not gonna get it. Because I don't know if you slept while you were there, but she probably hasn't slept the moment I put you back there. You didn't see. I mean, she knows they're serious charges, but you did not see your mother's reaction when I said, and I'll admit I was kind of yelling at you that you're facing light. And I saw your mother's reaction. Because no matter what it is, no matter what's going on or anything, no matter how stupid you get, you're still her baby. If you can't respect her, and I told you this, I will. You need to respect the court orders. You need to respect your mother. You need to respect yourself. But I've been doing this a long time, and I figure somebody that can't respect their mother, you know, probably shouldn't be out there walking around and doing anything. Man, you took time out. What were you talking about work?
My health isn't so good. I can't figure out. I've been on a trial study once in a while. My lungs. I don't smoke or anything. They don't know. I've been seeing a pulmonologist and.
So you're just off. So right now you're off of work.
Yes. It's not because of him. It's my health. It's before that.
Yeah, but him doing what he's doing can't help.
But he's clear. I've never had any issues about it. So this is why it's a shocker. All a shock. All of us. We all are shocked.
Your school on a 4-point schedule.
Sorry, I don't understand.
What's the highest grade point you can get? 4 or 5 or 4?
I think 4.0. 4.0 is the highest you can get.
it is over the objection of the people. I'm not going to put a cash component on it at this point. I'm going to reinstate his previous bond with the conditions that you are to test 3 times per week. Anything show up in your system, young man, you're going back. I'm not having a bond here. I'm just going to revoke. You are also to work your way. I want to see a 3.5 grade point average or above. Hear me?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
So if this case is still before me and as you approach graduation and you're not near that 3.5, you know where you're going to go? Right back. Because what that just tells me is you're not applying yourself. Is there anything you're unclear about?
No,
you understand very clearly, I hope, that this is not a game.
Yes, Your Honor, I understand.
All right. To the extent you think it's a game, you don't want to play that with me. We clear?
Yes, Your Honor.
Probable cause conference, March 6th.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, folks.
Good luck.
Welcome.
All right. So when I started that one, I thought it was just a marijuana case. I thought it was something simple, and people were just being hard on the kid. And then about the carjacking, I kind of lost faith in the kid, and then the judge pulled me back on it with this one. And I'm going to try to find a spot here. This is one spot that irritates the hell out of me all the time. I don't know why, but it gets to me. Let's see. You'll see the lawyer and the kid talking. Something about it whenever they just kind of talk and smirk with each other. I don't know why, but that just irritates the hell out of me. Every time I see that, I just keep feeling that it's enabling behavior. When of course the lawyer's got to defend his client, but when you act like, hey man, I'm sorry this is happening to you. This is just how the system works. You're not helping that damn kid. And then, 4 days, anyone can put up with 4 days. Hell, I've been camping before, so I've dealt with 4 days and fell. So, I don't see this kid getting it through his head to understand what he did there. Hopefully mom will get in him and she'll fix him up. Let's jump over to Judge Boyd. Judge Boyd. Fozzie's always asking me to play more Judge Boyd, so here we go with that.
All right, court is calling 2024 CR 012731 State versus Cody Lane Cross. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Rick Pena for the state of Texas.
Defense?
Morning, Judge Mark Garland for the defendant, Cody Kraus.
And are you Cody Kraus?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you entered a plea of no contest to count 4 on February 3rd. The state waived counts 1, 2, and 3 without objection. And defense counsel waived a PSI. Is that correct, defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so we're here for sentencing. According to your plea bargain agreement, the state is proceeding on count 4 only. They're asking that your punishment be assessed at a cap of 6 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine. The state will make no recommendation to your application for community supervision. And the state opposes your application for deferred adjudication. This is run concurrent with 2024 CC 742862. State is taking in consideration 2024 CC 742860 and 2024 AL 004803. And there's to be no contact with the complainant. Defense, do you have any witnesses?
I don't, Your Honor, but an issue that arose at the last date that the court was ready to sentence Mr. Kraus was you had asked me to contact the Durant County, Oklahoma clerk for purposes of trying to find out what was going on up there, and I have some information for the court.
Oh, yes.
So, Your Honor, he's got a one case number with 2 misdemeanor charges in Durant County, Oklahoma. The pending charges up there are driving under the influence of dangerous drugs, and possession of dangerous drugs. So again, apparently the way they do it up there is one case number, but two counts, so to speak. So going further in my conversation with the clerk, again, I know this is hearsay, but having heard no objection, I wanted to tell you that what the clerk represents is that, like Texas, she doesn't know if they're going to place a hold on him here and come and get him within 10 days. So I can't make any representations to the court in that regard. If they, just based on my experience for misdemeanors, generally speaking, I'd find it unusual for one state to go pick up another. But again, that's kind of anecdotal, and I know you know as well as anyone what the likelihood of that is. But in any case, Judge, we're asking that the court grant Mr. Kraus deferred adjudication. And I know that probation has also been applied for and that the state is neutral on our application for probation, but it's our position that if you give him regular probation, then he'll be somewhat hamstrung in terms of his ability to obtain gainful employment because he'll have a felony conviction. So with all due respect, we'd ask that if he has a chance at some sort of community supervision, that it be deferred so he's not addled with the felony conviction if he goes forth and tries to succeed. And just as a reminder for the court, we had a witness named Ms. Regalado, who's here again today, that testified about his time in the foster care system and stuff like that. So he's had a rough go of it. And then finally, I'd ask the court to take notice that his actions have not been without consequence. He's done a lot of days in jail. And so again, we're asking the court to grant him deferred adjudication at this time.
All right, and the court remembers the previous testimony, and correct me if I'm wrong, if my memory is wrong, but I believe the witness testified that the complainant was not supposed to be on the housing. It was just the defendant, and the defendant allowed or requested that the complainant be under his housing so that she and her children would have a place to stay. Is that correct?
Maybe misremembering, but I think it's something along those lines.
All right. All right. State, you're opposed?
Yes. The previously stated at the last hearing, his criminal history that he has, his new charges up in Oklahoma. We feel that deferred adjudication would be inappropriate for this case. We are silent though as to his application for police.
All right. So this is what the court is wrestling with. But for the fact that this was his housing and the complainant technically was not supposed to be living under his housing voucher, but he took her in because she had children. If that issue wasn't there, you'd be going to prison. It would not be any type of constraint for me as far as sending you to prison. But I have to sort of weigh that. But then on the other hand, I'm weighing it with what I'm reading in the police report. That's an issue for me. Because what I'm reading in the police report is she called saying that you were in violation of your bond and were attempting to break down her door, which is your residence, and that you were just placed in jail for the same thing. And you had the no contact order in place, but you still went over there. So I don't know if you want to address that. And you're telling the officers, it's just a misdemeanor. So do you want to address that for the court? I mean, if you don't have to. I mean, you waived your right to remain silent by entering into this plea. But if you don't want to address it, you don't have to. But that's my concern. My concern is that you knew you were not supposed to be there. You were just released from jail. And it states, upon my arrival, and this is the police, I identified suspect 1 by asking his name, to which matched the key card, and I placed suspect in handcuffs. Suspect stated he just got out of jail at approximately 1 a.m. and arrived at the location on bus because he just wanted a place to sleep. Suspect stated that the listed location was his home and that he did not know he had a protective order. Suspect, however, contradicted himself by stating he made contact with the witness one, that's Jasmine, through the phone, asking witness one to leave. I explained to suspect that he was not allowed to have any contact with witness one. Suspect stated he did know he had no contact order with witness one while in the back seat of my patrol car. They patted you down for weapons. And while in the back of the patrol car, I gave commands for suspect to move his feet inside the patrol car, which suspect became non-compliant. I informed suspect it would be in his best interest to comply, so he would not catch an additional charge for resisting arrest, search, and transportation. Suspect stated it's just a misdemeanor. And then you proceeded to kick the car door. And then the other problem is, witness stated officers were at the listed location earlier this morning. Witness stated that during that incident, she reported the suspect calling her, threatening to harm her, and suspect stated he was going to show up to the above listed residence. And so there's a police report for that. And then it says you showed up at the above listed residence at approximately 5:55 hours by transportation of the via bus to the residence. Witness then stated prior to Officer Watts and my arrival, suspect was attempting to enter the residence by kicking the door with his foot and hitting the door with a rock. I observed what were shoe marks located on the door near the lower side of the door handle. Witness also stated suspect threw a rock at the door and attempted to throw it at the apartment balcony door, where I observed the rock located on the apartment balcony. So, do you want to say anything?
Your Honor,
You want to raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yeah.
All right, and then it says, suspect stated that when he showed up to the residence, he was going to kick witness 2, Christopher Nunn, in the head and stomp on his chest. Suspect then made threats to witness 3, Dylan Moore, stating he was going to catch him and beat him up. All right, what would you like to say?
So with that being said, I know what the paperwork says, Your Honor, and please.
I'm sorry, you need to speak up. I can't hear you.
I know what the paperwork said, and I understand that's, that was who I am, who I was. And these last 5.5 months that I've been incarcerated, I've learned my lesson. I have time to sit down and think. Me and Jasmine have kids together, which are currently in foster care right now.
No, no, when you say you all have children together that are currently in foster care, your witness testified at the previous hearing that Jasmine needed a place for her and her children to stay. Usually when people say her children, that means that they're not your biological children.
They're my biological children.
They are your biological children? Okay.
I don't know why she said it was like that, but they're my children. Xavier Krause and Emery Krause. I just had a baby girl.
All right, that changes things for the court then, because I thought this was a complainant who just needed a place to stay with her children. That's the way the testimony was given to me, that they were not your biological children.
It's the mother of my children.
Okay.
We've been together for it would have been 5 years last year in November.
All right, so that means that she should have been under the housing then.
She wasn't under the housing, when she made the statement calling and she wasn't there for the first 2 months that I was supposed to get a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Was because I found a week before I got housing, I found out my baby mama was cheating on me.
You mean the mother of your children?
Mother of my children. She was cheating on me. So we broke things off and I went off and got the apartment by myself. I eventually got over it and I forgave her within that 1 month and a half. And I had asked her to come back home because she had my kids out in College Station. And the only reason why I allowed her to come back was because I wanted to be with my kids. My kids are everything to me. They're the reason why I'm not in prison as right now. Because, Your Honor, I should be in prison for a lot more worse things, but I'm not. And because of my children, they have made me to the person I am today. I would, you know what I'm saying, I would really like the probation because I really have learned my lesson, Your Honor. I really have. This is a very long 5.5 months that I've been incarcerated, and I really, really, really know that I'm not supposed to contact Jasmine, and that won't be an issue.
How long were you in custody before you went to the home trying to kick the door in?
8 days, exact.
Okay.
And I was still furious because I know for a fact only me and God would know that I didn't do anything to that girl but come home that night from St. Louis from my dad's.
So did you threaten her on the phone?
No, I did not threaten her.
So you stipulated to it.
I threatened Dylan because I told him that he's gonna have to at that time he was gonna have to fight with me because he went and because I was allowing him to stay with me. Granted that I have housing that none of them are supposed to be there with me, but I'm risking my house to help others, you know what I'm saying, help him. And
It's a sad situation that you're allowing random people to stay in a house and you have young children.
And it wasn't a random person. It was Mr. Christopher, her brother, his family friend. It was somebody that basically his brother. I never threatened Christopher at all. I actually have him.
No, it's as though no one's looking out for the children. You have a 2-bedroom apartment that the taxpayers are helping you secure. Well, a 1-bedroom apartment that you're having taxpayers help you with. And you have the mother of your children in there. How many children do you have? You have 2 children. You have yourself. I'm assuming there's 1 bathroom. And now you're bringing in random people that the taxpayers didn't agree to pay for.
Your Honor, I have a huge heart.
No, because here's the thing. I don't understand why people get free things through the taxpayers because we're paying for it. And then your free heart is really not free. You're giving what somebody has given to you and paid for, and you're acting as though, you know, it's your money when it's not. When you have these funded places that are funded by the taxpayers, you're not supposed to have everybody living with you. This Dylan person who you're saying is a friend of the mother of your children, you really don't know anything about him. And you're letting him stay in here, this random guy, be around your children. That's not a good parent.
At the time he was living with us, we didn't have the children.
Oh, where were the children?
With a family friend because we were dealing with a CPS case.
This just keeps getting worse. Any questions?
Just a brief question, Judge. So are you right now obligated to perform a CPS service plan? Do you have obligations to CPS so that you can try to maintain your parental rights?
Case right now, the CPS caseworker comes and sees me every month.
Okay. And is that another reason you're asking Judge Boyd to consider probation so that you can perform your service plan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Pass the witness, Judge.
And where are the children?
The children are with the family friend that they've been in custody with for the past 5 months.
All right. And when you went to go kick down this door or attempted to kick down this door, were the children in?
No, ma'am.
So CPS was already involved. All right. This is what the court is going to do. Court is finding you guilty. This will run concurrent with 2024 CC 742862. Taking consideration 2024 CC 742860, 2024 AL 004803. There's to be no contact with Jasmine Nunn, N-U-N-N. And the court will sentence you to 5 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served, and I'll request the therapeutic community. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Your Honor, may I ask you a question?
Sure.
Why am I going to prison?
Why are you going to prison?
Breaking into my own apartment.
All right. Let me explain something to you, and I'm sure your attorney explained it to you. When you have a protective order, in that protective order, it tells you what you're not allowed to do. Usually in a protective order, it will tell you there are certain locations you can't go to. There are certain people you can't be around. I'm sure in your protective order, it states that you were not allowed to be around Jasmine Nunn. You did it anyway. I'm sure in the protective order, it told you were not to go to that location. You did it anyway. That's a court order. When you violate court orders, that's a signal to the court that you're probably not going to abide by conditions of probation. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to your attorney. Counsel, did you go over the trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal with your attorney?
I did, Judge.
And did he sign that?
He did.
All right, thank you.
Judge, will the court retain jurisdiction for purposes of consideration of shock probation?
Sure.
Yes.
All right, so that guy there was, I'm trying to think of the best way to say it. He's just being an ass. He just, maybe after 5 years, I bet he comes out talking the same. I bet he comes out acting the same. I like to think people were going to change, but, you know, his big heart, you know, just put him in a bad situation. It was just someone else's fault. I thought it was funny earlier, the young kid that was, you know, we always hear they're going for a job interview on Monday, but no, that kid was starting a new business to the day of court. He has got his life all together, smoking his pot, studying, making his grades, and starting new businesses. Thank you, Mari. Thank you for subscribing and liking. Thank you. Billy is Tito. So, so the new little Chihuahua's name is Tito, and it really hates me. We took a trip to South Carolina this last week, and I brought the dog with me, and my wife was with me too, so the dog wasn't just cooped up in a hotel. But by the end of the trip, the dog was willing to come near me, and so that's as far as we're getting so far with that dog. It loves my wife. It sticks to my wife, and you know, my wife just thinks it's adorable, so that's hers. But my dog is Suki. My dog is the miniature dog. Oh, hold on. It's an amazing flying dog. Yeah, so you see, he puts up his hand right there to push away from me. So, yep, Gina, I've got a Dachshund named Suki. She's, I guess she's getting to be about 8 years old now. So, but that's certainly my dog. But this one's just kind of he's just kind of a mean dog. He loves my wife, and that works for me. But the Dachshund is definitely mine. So. But yep, we got 2 dogs and we got 1 cat, and right now the cat is bigger than both dogs. So we'll see how that works. We're gonna call it quits for tonight. We'll be back in the morning with Judge Fleischer. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that other stuff that YouTube says you have to do. And thank you guys. Make sure to thank the mods. Oh shoot, I guess I could put on that ending credits thing. Make sure to look for your name on the ending credits. If it's not there, complain to Linus. She made me take some of y'all's names out.